Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and we've got another fun day for you. Fun projects. Grab your Aveneer and your notebook. I don't know if you can grab your Aveneer, but you're going to want to watch this show. There's such a fun project here and also some great tutorials for you. So we are live in the chat today. We're on Brother Sewing and Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages. We love hearing from you. So say hi, say where you're from. Let us know what's on your sewing table. And in the meantime, let's bring up Cathy Gandy. She's got another great tutorial for you. Cathy, how are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Oh, I'm so excited to see you. I know we have a lot of new viewers lately. So for those of you who haven't met Cathy, she is a brother educator. She has done a ton of live shows. If you want to go back and watch any of her episodes, head on over to Brother's YouTube channel. That's the fastest way to find it. And click on live shows, and you can binge watch. Oh, Cathy, I'm so excited for today because you've got some great tutorials and the project is adorable.
Well, I had the theme that I had was travel. And well, since educators do fly around a lot, everybody does the flying thing. So I thought I'd go to the car. So I have some projects for in the car. So traveling by car is what I'm kind of concentrated on.
Perfect. I'm just trying to think of all the things I need when I'm in a car. I'm in a car quite often. So I'm dying to see what you have. I know one of them I would use immensely. Actually, both of them.
Yeah, the one, well, I have 3 of them. And one is, well, should I show them?
Oh, why not? Let's give them a little teaser so they know what to expect today. And this is going to be so much fun.
Okay, so this is a seatbelt cover. So it's slightly stuffed so that you can lay on it and take a nap. I don't suggest it for the driver, but for anybody else, it's really works very well. I tried it. I took it out to the car and put it on the seatbelt and laid my head down, and it's not stuffed real tight, so it'll fit around the seatbelt, but it's really nice and comfy. It's just straight seam, so it's very easy to do. So it's just hooks on the belt with this hook and loop tape on the back.
This is so cute. You know what? I was just my nephews came to visit, and they're all in the back seat, their tablets and everything, while the parents are driving. This would be so comfortable than having that seatbelt.
Yeah. So it says that I cut to 3 pieces, 6 inches by 26 inches. It's a little long, so I would measure just to make sure that you don't get it too long. And then you cut one of them in half, and then you sort of sandwich in between, so it ends up being little wings. And so all the sides, leave it open, do some stuffing. Now stuff it lightly. Do not really stuff it full. I tried that, and it didn't work on the belt. It just wouldn't go around very well. So I would just stuff it lightly, but it's fun, and it's easy, and it's just straight sewing, and it's comfy. And I, of course, use the cuddly stuff, the minky stuff, or the fluffy fabric, make it real comfy.
Super soft. What are you stuffing it with, by the way?
Oh, just fiberfill.
Oh, okay. So just get that in there. So
yeah, right. Now the opening was big enough for me to get my hand down in there. Now at first I was stuffing it so tight in there, and I had a broom and was doing like that, and it was just too stiff. So then I had to dig my hand in there and pull it all out. So lightly stuff. Don't get carried away.
I love it. Super cute. We were joking before the live show here. Cathy and I was looking at her cameras and stuff. She's like, I wouldn't recommend if you're driving to use this because it's really comfy and you might fall asleep.
So yeah, don't let the driver use it. All right, that's a seatbelt cover. And then Angela said something about her, was it nephews, the sun coming in and say, get rid of that sun and all that. So this is just a little, this is just straight sewing too, just a little square. Now this is 17 by 17, and I didn't measure my windows, and this is too big for my window because you have these little suction cups that you're going to use to grab the corner and put it on the window. So measure your window and then make it to fit. You could use the little ponytail ties. I have some round elastic, which I really love. I use it quite often, but the round elastic just worked really perfect in here. I could cut it to the size that I wanted, and then just lay it down and sew across it. Now our machines, I'm gonna show you the settings on the machine in a while, and we have a setting on our machines called the AHA feature, and what that does is it adjusts the foot. So remember when we used to go over big humps or lumps in our fabric, the foot would do this, and you get teeny, teeny, teeny stitches. We'd lift up the foot and it would do this. You get a good stitch, and then it would fly down. So then you'd get a long stitch. So what the AHA feature is, it moves the foot like this. So it's going to move the foot up and down to go over those bumps and give you a much better stitch. So that, I think it comes as a default off, and so you probably want to turn it on. I did go ahead and just used a can or just something to make a curve on the corner and cut the corners. So to me, that was easier to put the elastic down there just on a curved corner. And then I used blackout fabric on the back. I thought that would help block the sun even better.
That's a great idea. That is and super easy. So what was the measurements of that again? 17 by what?
17 by 17.
Oh, but that's easy. Or measure your window.
This was too big, so I could do these two. And remember, your suction cup's going to take up part of the window. So I could do these two, but the bottom part was hanging down, so whatever. I mean, that was okay, unless you have some little rambunctious ones in the back that want to play with it. So
yeah.
So
or
that's
keep them away from all the raccoons that are out by my window. They would all be hanging from it.
Exactly. So that's it. And I, of course, the little ties. I do like the round elastic, but if you don't have it and have the ties, hair ties, then that will work too.
Oh yeah, hair tie. It's exactly the same thing. That's a great idea.
Exactly. Yeah. I do like this because I think it's strong. Well, no, not really. Some of those, if they hold my hair, they're going to hold anything. So, a lot of them are pretty strong. So those work too. All right.
Great project. So by the way, again, we're live in the chat today. So leave your comments and questions. Even if you're watching the replay, if there's something that you have a question on, just drop it in there. Social team will send it to us and we'll answer if we miss it. So go ahead, Cathy. Sorry.
All right. No problem. Okay. So, and the last project that we're going to do, and I'm going to walk you through this on the Aveneer, is, I'm going to walk you through the embroidery part of it, is a little trash bag.
Oh, look at that.
So I use the fonts and the applique feature to make it into an applique, and I'll show you how that works. Now, this is a pattern that I got off the internet. You just look up trash bags for cars, and it used boning in here to give you that look. So you have a little opening here, and you just stick a 6-inch piece of boning here and an 11-inch piece of boning up here, and that just sort of keeps it open. Another thing is it tells you 18 inches for this. Well, it won't go over my headrest. So make sure that you measure your headrest to make sure that your twill tape will go over it so you can use it. So just those are a few little tips there. If you're going to do something like this, do one that goes over the headrest. Make sure that your twill tape is long enough to go over the headrest. So I don't know.
That trash thing is so cute. My car would be, I need one just for all the lip gloss and pens that fall on the floor, but trash would be good too.
Yes. So where could we hang it? I don't know. We'll find a place. Anyway.
We'll find a place.
So, I don't know if you remember the technique that I used for my Winnie the Pooh jacket and my Alice in Wonderland jacket. So when you open it up, and the lining has the design inside. Now that's the same technique that we're going to use for the trash, the trash applique. So it's the same.
That's great. A lot of people maybe haven't seen that show, so this would be something new for them or a refresher in case you did see the show.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't think I've ever shown the applique part of it, but it's just cute. And on the Alice in Wonderland, it's the same sort of thing, but it's just a different jacket. It's obviously Alice in Wonderland,
Oh my,
and it
that's
has
so cute.
this inside.
Look at
So
that.
my my lining is just too busy. You would never see this, and so you put it on and make it into an applique.
Beautiful.
Well, these are big designs that are in. This one's in the Luminaire and the Aveneer, and then the Winnie the Pooh is just. I think it's in the Aveneer limited edition.
Look. Oh my gosh, that is so adorable.
So those are that's what we're going to be doing today. And so let's go ahead and I'll go over to the machine. We'll go to settings and I'll sort of walk you through settings and then we'll go into the lettering and work on the applique.
That
Okay?
sounds good. All right.
All right.
While she's flipping her camera, don't forget we're live in the chat today, so we will help if you have any questions. We'll get back to you on those. And she's using the Aveneer right now, and if you have questions on that, just drop that in the chat too. All right, Cathy, I'm going to take this banner down so we can actually see the top of your screen. There you go.
Okay. So I don't know if you can you see the machine settings here? It's a little cog looking like thing. It's way at the top, and you may not be able to see it, but it's
no,
the third.
You know what? It's right above. We can see where it says machine settings on there, but the
Right.
camera's just below it, so it's just right above that she's pointing. You can all see it. She's using her mouse. That's why it tells you where it is.
So I'm going to click on that, and here we come. So I'm in embroidery right now. So the embroidery is darkened. So this is your general settings. This is your sewing. This is your embroidery, and this is your wireless. So right now it's telling me, well, we're on your embroidery settings because that's where you're at on your screen. And that's page number 8. So this right here, well, on this page, if I click this, it's going to take everything back to the reset. So you have resets and you have it where you put it. So if you reset it, we'll put back to where the factory had it. And this is kind of nice right here. This will save your screen settings to a USB. So if you're having a problem and your mechanic or whatever wants to see what's on your screen, you can send him a screenshot of that. So that's nice. So let's go ahead and come. I'm going to come to the general settings, and we'll be on page number 1 out of 13. So this first one is confusing. I don't know how it gets turned on. Right now you can see that it's turned off. This means that it's off when it's not dark, when it's a light gray. That's your width control. So that takes your speed control button, the one that we use for speed control with the arrows on it, on the head of the machine, and turns it to width control. So it no longer controls the speed, but as you move it back and forth, it will change the width of your stitch. So if you're doing a zigzag stitch and you want it wide and narrow and wide and narrow, and you don't want to keep changing the width, you can just use your slider button to change it as you sew. Now, some people have a problem. They say, my speed doesn't work anymore, and that's because this button is turned on. So they just need to.
I am so glad you showed that, Cathy. And this is why. Because I have received numerous emails through the last few years, between even on the Luminaire, the Aveneer, like, my speed control's not working. What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. And then when I realized that button was on, it's such an easy thing. And if you don't know it's on and you're trying to use the speed, it's not going to work.
Exactly. That's why it's so good to come to the settings. We come there and do one thing, and then we don't worry about it anymore. But if you just sort of look through them, it can solve a lot of problems. So the fine adjustment vertical and the fine adjustment horizontal is if you're doing a large design in the sewing side of the machine, sometimes the horizontal and the vertical is off, and this is where you can come and adjust that. So it depends on the fabric that you're using, because they'll work perfectly on one fabric and close up and won't work on another. And there is a little balloon. And so you can come to your manual that's in your machine and check it out, and it will show you exactly how to line it all up. But that's what these two are for here. The presser foot height is 10 millimeters. That's how high it's raising here. The presser foot pressure, so you can change your pressure right here. So if I click on that arrow, you can see it's on 3, and I can change it from, I have a variety of 1 to 4. So you have a lot of different pressures you can use there. Now this is the AHA feature that I was talking about, and usually I think it's on now. It used to come off, but this is the automatic fabric sensor system that I was talking about, where your foot lifts up and down instead of just the toe coming up and then falling off. So this is your AHA feature right here, and it's a wonderful feature. All right, on page 2, you've got your initial position. So the manufacturers like the machine to start in the left. And the reason they like that is that it's all the way to the left. And so right over here, it gives the needle some support. So, you know, if it's in the center, you have some little, it can move in here. But we like the center. So you have the default. You can leave it at the left, or you can default it to the center. The default is to the left, but I like the center, so that's where I have it. Your pivoting height. So when you have your pivot feature on, which is on the head of the machine, you can change the height of how high the foot comes up when you pivot. Sometimes you don't want it to come up very high, and sometimes you want it to come up higher. And then you have your free motion foot height, and then you'll have your dual feed adjustment. Now, we've been talking about the dual feed, I think, quite a bit lately. And you can see where you have, I have it on 0.7. I was doing something, so I'm going to, the 0, 0. So you have from -10 all the way to +10. So you have a variety of how that works. Now, what happens if you go minus, the belt is going to move slower and move that top fabric less. So if your bottom fabric is moving too fast and you need to slow down the top fabric, you go minus. If you need to speed up the top fabric so it will catch up with the bottom, you go to plus. So usually 0, 0 works, but you do have all these wonderful adjustments. All right, now we have the automatic presser foot lift. So you have auto down and you have press to trim. Now I was having a problem because this was off and I didn't know what was going on, but I like to have them both on at the same time. So now we'll come to number 3. And if you're a quilter, you may want your screen to open up to the quilting stitches instead of the utility stitches. I leave it here, but if you're a quilter, you may want to change it there. So when you turn on your machine and you go to sewing, it's going to automatically go to the quilting screen. So this is your reinforcement priority. So you can pick whichever one you want more, is the tie off or the reverse. And here's your multifunction foot control. And we've talked about that before. So you have all these different, each one, you can pick one of these settings for the heel and one of the settings for the small pedal. So you can change these for whatever project you're doing. So sometimes you like it one way and sometimes you like another. So you've got it all right there for whatever you like to do with your foot control. Endpoint setting, temporary stop. So we have a feature in the sewing side that there's a sticker. It's called a snowball sticker, and you stick it where you want your sewing to stop. So you'll pick that and you put your sticker where you want it to stop. Now, if you put it off to the side, about 1 inch off to the side, right or left from where you want it to start, it can read it and it can stop there. But if you put it right on the point, you need to turn this on so the machine will stop in time for you to take the sticker off so you don't sew the sticker in. So that's what that is. All right, so your language, you can change your language, your voice guidance. You can turn it on or off. I like it on. I like to hear what's going on. And you can have a male or female voice. A is male, B is female. So if I want to change it, I can just come here and change the language and change whatever I want there. So let's just go back. There we go. And then your speaker, you can change how loud your volume is. And then this is SR buzzer volume, and that's your stitch regulator. So when you have that line in the back to warn you that you're going over the limit on your stitch regulator on the back, it'll change the volume here for your stitch regulator buzzer volume. So your light is your light on your machine, and usually you have it up to 5. I have my screen display brightness on 2 just so that maybe you can see it better, but the default is 4. So there we go, and okay. And whoops, I went the wrong way, sorry. So let's come here. Okay, so 4, if you look right here, let's go back to 3. I wasn't watching this. Okay, so 3 is still general settings, and that endpoint is the last of that. So when we go to 4, we're going to be going into sewing. So now you can see that this is sewing. So here we have all these. We already talked about those. And so we'll go to 5, and your initial screen, your opening screen, you can change that if you want. So you can change what it looks like. If you click that, you can change what you want, the home page or the sewing embroidery screen. And then you have your echo mode. I have turned that off. And the support shut-off mode I've turned off because I don't want it to turn off on me. I have my screensaver. If you come to your screensaver, you can see it. The default is 5 minutes. Well, I took it all the way up to 60. So the screensaver will stay up, won't come on for 60 minutes. So you can change that. If I want a different screensaver, I can come to select and you can select that. So this is a fun one here, and people don't use it often, and it is off because when it is on and you go to use your pivot feature isn't going to work because it needs needle down. This one has 3 different needle positions. You have needle up, needle almost down, and needle down. So if you're doing paper piecing or something where you want that needle at right a specific point, the needle goes almost to the fabric, and you can still move your fabric so that you can see that it's right where it needs to be. So this is a very good feature for certain things that you may want to do. Just know that it's there, and if you want it, you can use it, but if the pivot feature may not work with that on. They may have changed that, but it used to not work. So I have to check that out, sorry. All right, and then you have your upper and bobbin thread sensor. So your bobbin thread's almost out, and it tells you that your bobbin thread's almost out. You have 5 more inches to sew, and you go, you just come here, turn that off, and it will continue to sew until the bobbin runs out, and you'll be good. Then you can come turn it back on. So I do use this when my bobbin is low and I know I have enough to finish what I'm sewing, so that I don't have to sew 2 stitches and have it give me the warning. So just remember that this is in here if you need it.
And you know, Cathy, I'm so glad you pointed that out, because sometimes people will have that off and forget about it, and then they'll say, why isn't my bobbin sensor working? And so your first inclination is go clean your bobbin out and all of this. Well, go check that first and make sure it's even on.
Exactly. And then you have your background color so that you can change it if you need to. Sewing outline, you can turn that on. Embroidery pointer color is green. You have, I think, 16 different colors that you can pick from. And your pointer shape, you can have it a cross or a circle. And then this is a needle calibration for the camera projector. So if you need to do that, I don't know if you you get some plain white sheets, just little white stickers with your machine. And that's what this is for. So if you want to do this, you come here and I'll walk you through exactly how to calibrate it. So you can calibrate your needle there. So I It's a great thing to do every once in a while, but you need those white sheets, and that's what those are for. Oh gosh, I did it again. I'm sorry. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so right here. So let's go to 7. And this is all our good stuff. I've got my scan and cut, my connection. I've got my stitch count. Now this is the version of the machine, and reset to default, so you can reset everything. So let's go one more, 8, and now we're at embroidery. So my embroidery hoop is up here. And so this is your frame size, so you can go through your frames. And then you have, now we have different frames that you can put up here. So you can see that you have a lot of frames that you can put on the machine. But somebody was asking, I forget which one it was. Do you remember, Angela, was it the 8x12 or the 7x14? Something. So these are the ones that you can put up there. But the machine is only going to recognize when you go to embroidery and you have the machines up here. I can get the frame size up here, so I'll know that it's going to fit in my 8x8 frame. But when I go to the embroidery side, it's only going to have the 4 hoops that come with the machine. So you're not going to have all the embroidery hoops that come with the machine, because if you look, there's a lot. So that would take up a lot of space. But you can come in here and you can put those parameters up so you can see if it fits in there. So that's nice. And then you have your grid, so you can have the different grids that you want.
That's really nice, Cathy. And I'm so glad, as you mentioned, somebody was asking this on one of the previous live shows. They said the machine wasn't recognizing their hoop. And I think what they were talking about is when you go to the embroidery screen, it shows those 4 little boxes of the 4 different hoops. It doesn't show your hoop, but on the screen you'll have that red outline of your hoop, which is really helpful, because how many times have you tried to put something in, it says change to a bigger hoop, and you're like, what was that noise you made earlier when you have more bobbin thread? You're like, oh. that one.
Yeah, it gets a little frustrating, because you have, and with our arm now, our arm is so strong. But it used to be, if you were doing a quilt, something heavy, and you had all that bulk on the arm, it could tilt the arm forward. And when you tilt the arm forward, the sensor in the little, where the sensor is, it can't read the hoop anymore. That's why with the largest hoop, you'll get that it changed to a larger hoop, because the arm is tilted and can't read that hoop anymore. So,
that's interesting.
So our arm is a lot heavier, so we shouldn't have that problem anymore. I've got my speed turned down to 700. I don't know if you all know, but I try to attempt to do a lot of picture play, and I think it just works better with a slower speed. The tension is here if you need to change the tension, and remember, we're in embroidery, so that's for embroidery, and the foot height for the embroidery. And if you want the needle stop position to be up or down, I have it up, but some people may want it down. And then this is for the automatic foot down. So if that's on, all I have to do is press the button and it will start sewing. I don't have to lower the foot, it'll lower it for me. And this is one that I think everybody knows about. This is your millimeters to inches, and most people put it on inches. So most people know exactly where that's at. So they've already done that. So this is where your thread brand, you pick your thread brand. And then this is, I like name of color. If you want the number of the thread, you can do the number, but I like the name of color because I do have different thread brands. I'm sorry, but I do. And so I like to sort of just look for the color. So this is your embroidery background color and your thumbnail color. Those are just so that you can see what's going on. If you have something white and you have a white background, you can't see it, so you can change it here. Same with your thumbnails. And this is your thumbnail size. I have them on large. If you want more on the screen, you do medium or small. And then you have your basting distance. So you can change your basting distance. The default is 0.2, so you can have it right on it if you're doing something where you want the basting right on the design, and then you can get it further away. So that's your basting distance from your design. So now if you look at your design, you see that red box around it. Now that's your outer parameters. That's what it's going to do. That's what it sees. So that's going to put it so much away from that line. So that's what it's looking at. This is the background image. Now this is another one right here that is off, and sometimes it gets turned on. I don't know if you've ever had somebody say, every time I go to scan my fabric, it wants a snowman sticker. And I don't know why. And really, it's for this feature. So if you don't want to put your snowman sticker on there, just come in here and turn this off. What it does is it detects the thickness of your fabric so the camera can adjust and get a good scan of your fabric. So if it's thicker, it can adjust the camera to get you a good scan. So that's what it's for. So if you're not getting a good scan and your fabric is thick, you may want to come here and turn this on. Okay, so this is, this is the one, this is the W plus foot. When we had the Dream machine, how you had to plug the embroidery foot in, and then you would get the light on to show where the needle was. We don't have to do that now because it comes up on the screen. But if you have that foot and you want to adjust that and you want to plug it in, you can come here and adjust that. So then this is for your wireless, and you can see that I had a hard time setting mine up, so that's why my thing is headache here. And this is important here. This is your machine number. So when you are using my Design Snap app, when you're connecting to other things, this sewing machine is sewing machine 712. I can change that if I want, but that's what it came up as. So a lot of times you're going to get you where they want the machine name, and this is right here under the wireless.
And they can also change the name to anything that they want to.
Yes, I can.
Which is great.
You come here and then you just change it to whatever you would like.
So Cathy, we should ask everyone that's watching, since we're live in the chat today, drop a note of what you've named your machine. Or did you leave it the original number? But if you named it, let us know what you named your machine. And actually, a lot of people watching have more than one machine. So if you name them, it's easier to find them, especially through Artspira.
Exactly. And then I do have a 1.08 in. Now this is when you put your updates in, when you bring it over wirelessly, it brings it to the machine. When you use your USB stick, that's bringing it into the machine. But then it's not really in the machine until you go ahead and update the program. So you have to remember that there's just kind of two steps to it. So I guess I did skip one more page. Let me see. I think the last page that I skipped is Artspira. So this is where you connect to my connection in Artspira and my ID number. All right, so let's go back home and let's go to embroidery. So is there any questions or?
That was a great tutorial. And because we're live in the chat, drop your questions and we'll try to get those. But I think you covered it really well. I mean, I know there's probably people wondering, like, what difference does it make? What height is your foot? Or things like that. It all depends on fabric, project, and stuff like that. But you gave a great overview.
Yeah, we don't realize we need it until we get there. And then we go, why isn't this working? And then if we think about all the settings that we have and we can change that and it'll work
Yeah,
better, just go into your settings every once in a while and just take a peek at what's there, because it can solve a lot of your problems.
it really can. It really can. And when you get into the embroidery screen in a moment, show them where those 4 hoops are that we were mentioning, that there's only 4 that show up at the top, but you can still pick your
Well,
exact hoop size.
they're right here.
Oh, wait, let me take the banner down. There you go. Oh,
They're
there
right
you
there.
are, right there.
So these are the 4 that you're going to see here, but you can pick those other sizes and have the size up here on the screen. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
And I don't know how many use the manual on the machine. I know that we get frustrated with it, but just real quick, I'm going to come up here to the question mark, which says machine help. I don't know if you can see the machine help here. And I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to go to manuals and go to operation manual. And I am going to go ahead and wait for it to come up here. And I'm going to click here in this box here and backspace and put in page number 22 and go down. And I think this is going to do me. Okay, so here is on page number 23. This is my general settings. So if you can come here, it's going to, I guess it's on, starting on 22. It's going to tell you those settings and it'll walk you through everything that's there so that you can get a better understanding. I mean, I told you about it, but you can just come right here and just see how easy it was to get there. I mean, it's just very, very simple to do. Anyway, so think about using the manual on the screen, because then you can scroll it bigger. I can't do that with the pages on my book, but anyway.
That's for sure.
But there you go. It's nice to have it on board. It's just that we need to get used to using it.
And thank you for showing that you can touch it and make it larger, because I didn't even realize that until my nieces were here and they're messing with the machine. And I thought, I didn't even know it did that. So thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and work on an applique. So first we're going to go to the letters. So we're going to go to our character patterns. And I think you've probably seen this before, but this is our show preview now. We didn't have this before. So every time you brought up an alphabet, you had to go in there and type in your letter to see if you liked it. But now we have show preview. So I can come in and I can look at something like this and go, well, that looks okay, but it's for the kids and it's trash and they can't read cursive. So no, I'm not doing this. So we'll go ahead and cancel this one. And but then I can see what it looks like. I can do this one. This is one of my default ones. I love this alphabet, but we're not going to use that one because I use it too much. So we're going to come down here to this really funky one right here. And there you go. So you can see that it's a new one and it's really different. So this is the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to say OK. So I'm going to bring in the letter T. Now you have a different way of sizing. So this is a point system. So right here, this letter, and that's the default, that's what I used. And it's 1.38 by 1.35. I can come here and do the plus, and you can see that it's moving up in increments of 5, and it will go up to 100. Well, it didn't move, but anyway. Okay, so then I'm going to come over to the small letter, and I'm going to take R. Oh, well, it changed the, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't select it. So when I went up to 100, it's waiting for my next letter. So that was all me. Send me back to school. Okay. So now that letter is 2.69 by 3.75. So it's going to change the letter, and I don't want to do that big one, so I'm going to back up so I know how to do that. And then I'm going to come down here to minus. So if I had wanted to do this, I would have to select it. So I'm going to go back to the 30 and just put in my other letters. But you can get them small. Now, you don't want to go too small, because if you go too small, they're just not going to look right. We have some small letters built in because they have to be specially digitized. With this, you're just adding stitches and taking stitches away. And if they get too small, you're not going to be able to recognize them. So you can go down some, but I wouldn't go down all the way because it makes them really dinky. So here we go, A, R. There we go. All right. I can spell, barely. Okay. So now we'll just go to set. So you have, this is alphabet 407. I've got my size. I've got my word. If I wanted to do another line, I would just click this. And there we go. I have my different letters, like multiple letters, a single letter. And I'm just going to go to set. I can do the array and character spacing. I can space them apart and I can align them, but I'm just going to leave them the way they are and go to set. So here we are, and I've got all the black letters here, and I'm going to go to edit. And when I come to edit, I have applique pieces. So I'm going to click applique pieces. Now this one here is connected to my scan and cut, but I want the one built into the machine. So if you don't have a scan and cut, you will not have, if you're not connected to a scan and cut, you will not have this icon, but you'll have this one for the applique. So I'm going to click that, and I got my distance 0.2 apart. That's what I want, but I can make that further apart, further away. You can see as I go, do you see how the line gets a little smoother? So it all depends. If I go way down, it gets way, do you see what happens here? It's going to come up inside here because it's getting closer and closer. But I don't want that. I want to go back to the 2. And there I say OK. So there I am. I have my applique. So when I come to embroidery, you're going to see here, I'm going to do the plus and minus. So I'm going to have my letters, and I'm going to go down to the next letter and the next letter. Now you see this says applique material. So that means that I wanted this on gray. So if you remember what this looked like, I went ahead and I had this sewn out already. So you can see that I did it on gray fabric because that's the fabric that I wanted as my applique fabric. So then I sewed this out, and then I sewed this outline. And that's the applique material. So that's that one. So then after you get that done, you are going to trim it with your favorite scissors. Or if you want to take the time to scan it into the scan and cut it, and you're going to end up with this. Then you're going to take your fabric, excuse me, and you're going to hoop your fabric, and then you're going to do applique position. So I don't know if you can see, but there's applique position sewn on here. Can you see that? Probably not.
We can just, well, I would say we really can't see it because of the fabric, but we trust you. So it's the same outline that you saw in the trash.
Exactly. It's the same outline here. So then you're going to take your applique and fuse it on here, glue it on here, or whatever, and then sew your last applique stitch. So that's how easy it is. I don't know what else to say.
So
I guess,
simple.
yeah, it really is. I like to just, now, I do want to suggest we have a habit of leaving it on the machine and doing this, and we really can't see at that angle, and sometimes it just doesn't get on there quite right. It's off just a little bit because we think we can see it and we can't see it. So I suggest you take the hoop off and put it on before you finish sewing it.
That's a good tip.
So is there any questions you want to?
No, this is great. I love this tutorial. Super fun, super easy. Appliques are so easy to do. And when you have a busy fabric like that, if she had just embroidered trash on there, you're not going to see it. So the applique really makes a difference to have it stand out. I love that, Cathy.
Yeah. And I went ahead and, well, you pick out the thread and all. I tried to get the thread that matched, but it just gives it a little extra pop, and it just makes it, like you said, it just makes it stand out. You couldn't see it otherwise. There's just no. I wanted to tell you about the stabilizer. So everybody asks about the stabilizer, and I do just use a tearaway. Usually it's a medium weight tearaway that I use. I do like to starch the fabric, so I use a light starch on my fabric because fabric moves. That's just what it does. Do you want me to come back?
Sure, come on back to us. While she's
Okay.
switching her camera to come back, again, drop your comments and we are live in the chat today. This has been a great tutorial. I'm sure some of you do have questions, so drop them in and we'll get back to you as soon as we can on those. But go ahead about the stabilizer, because you said, did you say tearaway? But it's not the sticky back tearaway. It's just tearaway, correct?
No, I hardly ever use sticky back. I am, as you notice, I'm a hooper. I really don't like to float. So when you use sticky, it's usually because you're floating your fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And I just do not care to do that. I've been doing embroidery since a long time, since the late 80s, early 90s. And so we always hooped because we didn't know any different. But I've learned so much, but the floating, and I know people love to do that, and I'm glad that they're able to make it work. But I just find hooping just gives me much better results. If I can help, if it's something I have to, then of course, and then it's always a basting stitch, always a basting stitch. But I do like to hoop best, and I've also started using some thing on the back of the fabric, especially with the picture play. I iron on the fusible interfacing on the back because fabrics are not made to be stable. They're made to move with us and breathe. And so there's holes in them. So we need to take care of that. We need to make it so it won't move, because those stitches are going to make it, it's going to make it move back and forth. So that's my thing.
Absolutely. So, by the way, back to that trash bag. Did you give the measurements for how you made that?
No, I didn't.
Let me I was just thinking that. I know somebody's thinking, what are those measurements? We got the measurements for the others, and if you missed it, you rolled in late, you can watch the replay on Facebook or YouTube.
Let me get this out, because I think this guy is the right size. Okay, so it's 10 inches by 18 inches.
Okay, 10 by 18 for the trash.
So then we're going to That's why you use tearaway. Okay, so you have about 18, and you're going to put the two pieces together, the front and the back, and then on the bottom, there's these little notches. You have a notch for the, oh, no, this is all one piece. So this is the back seam allowance. So you make the seam allowance, and then you're going to have notches on here. So you're going to have a notch where the front should be. So you're going to bring your back seam up there. Okay, so that you have that match. So there's, and then you can just press your sides if you want, but you don't really need to. And then you're going to take this side, and I think it's maybe 1 inch, maybe a little bit more than 1 inch. And so bring it here, and then this side over here, and stitch that down. And you're going to do that with the lining too. So that gives you, do you see these corners here? Right in here.
Yeah.
You got the corners formed. And
Yep.
so that little pleat there makes this corner. So you can see that you have these little indented corners there.
Oh,
and
super
that's
easy.
what pleat does.
Love that.
Okay. And then after you do that, then you're going to sew around, leave an opening in the lining, put it down, and then you're going to mark on the inside of the lining. You're going to mark 1 inch down, and then you're going to fold that down, and then stitch around, and you leave it and stitch down the sides. So these sides are stitched down here, and leave an opening here and here. So this is the 6 inches of boning, and this is the 11 inches of boning.
Oh, there's boning in there?
Yes. Yep. Yeah,
like
there's
boning that you use in a wedding dress, that kind of boning?
Exactly.
Oh.
So you can see, and you just leave that opening there so you can take it out if you want to wash it.
Good idea.
So that's what gives it the look here, is that boning in there. That's what makes it stay open.
Great idea.
And then you have the webbing in there.
And even I was thinking when you said that the webbing that you had made doesn't quite fit over your seat. So if somebody used a long piece of hook and loop tape, then you could just take it and wrap it around the back of your chair. I mean, so there are other options there too if you're not worried,
Exactly.
if you're worried what size.
That's who we are. We come up with solutions. That's somebody that's getting solutions as a sewer. You know, we engineer sewing. You know, we just think and decide how to fix things so to make it work.
Me too. I love it. That is a great. So all 3 projects, all for the car. The first one's adorable, and that's the. You want to hold those up one more time before we end the show? In case somebody popped in late, they're going to have to go back and watch the replay to find out all the measurements about this and how to put this together. I love that one. You could have so much fun with some great fabric on that.
Yeah, and it is really cuddly. And then, I don't know what I did with it.
We've been sewing and throwing today.
Oh, here it is. I had it turned so the blackout fabric was out, so I couldn't see it. But here, the little sunshade.
Super cute project. So I know somebody rolling in is going to say, where are the patterns for these? So if you go back and watch the replay, she gave you the dimensions, and all of it's basically sewing, and she walked you through the steps. So if you have more questions, though, drop them in the chat. Cathy, this has been so informative and great projects as well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And everyone watching, If you have questions, drop them in the chat. We will try to answer those. Even if you're watching the replay, Brother's social team is awesome, and they'll send us the questions, and we'll answer them for you. Cathy, I can't wait till the next one that you're going to do. This is amazing. I love this, and everyone's going to be happy for their car trip.
This is so much fun. Yes, happy summer traveling.
Sounds good. All right, till next time, everyone. Happy sewing.
Bye-bye.
Attach the embroidery frame in the initial sewing position.